Hi friends, I'm Leah Noel, Aviatrix Stitcher. Thanks for dropping in today. This is going to be a WIP parade. You have not seen a WIP parade from me since Flosstube #1. Since that time, I have added significantly to my WIP pile. So, I already know this is going to be a longer video. So, do yourself a favor and get a beverage, and maybe a snack, some stitching perhaps, and join me as I show you all of my WIPs. There's over 40. I am double fisting it, so they say, with my hot tea and my warm water because I feel myself coming down with a cold. I can feel it in my chest. I've been coughing a lot. So, I have a cough drop. I have some Kleenex within reach. And all of my WIPs piled around me. And I thought, it's either today or not at all until January. Because, you know, when you feel yourself coming down with a cold, you just know what's coming, right? So, the lighting is not ideal. It's overcast today, but we're just going to make the best of it and show you what I got going on. So, I'm not going to have a regular update, Flosstube update, again until January. And since the last time I saw you, I've only worked on one WIP anyways, so I thought I would just start off with that one and show you how much I've done on that. I've actually made a lot of progress. This is Snowman and Friends stocking by Dimensions. So that's what it will look like. And I've been able to insert photos. So this is what it looked like last time you saw it. And here it is now. So since you saw this last, I made a mitten and a bird. I finished the moon at the request of my son. This is for him. Now he's telling me, now that I have the moon done, I have to finish the snowman. And that's a bigger task, but I've added some of the background here. I added more of the snowman. I added some of his scarf. I filled in a lot of the background. This is the edge of the stocking, so that's pretty exciting. I think over here is also another edge. And then I'm sort of working up, there's going to be a band here with his name. And anyway, so that's seen a lot of good progress. Okay, now, everything else, alright, I'm trying to figure out the logistics here. I've got 2 stacks here on the table, I've got piles here, I've got my bag here. I'm just gonna go back into my bag. I'll show you this is my WIP bag. It's, what's it called, 31 or something, some kind of 31 bag. I got it as a Christmas present from my mom when I started flight school. She gave this to me for Christmas, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that is the perfect project bag. Like, it's perfect to keep a few projects in here and take it on the go. Okay. So, my next project that I will show you is Be My Love by Carriage House Samplings. And this is being stitched on 16 count Icon Ada by Picture This Plus in my own color conversion. And I am stitching this with Debbie, Minnesota Stitcher on Instagram, and Amy Loves Toads, and she has finished hers already. Amy's finished hers already. And all three of us are doing different colors. We've all selected a different color palette other than what's called for. So that's been pretty fun. Okay, the other thing in here is my Polar Bears Mill Hill kit. This is what it will look like. And this is where I am right now. I decided to do extreme cross country. I'm just stitching one color at a time, and I started with white, and now I'm on ecru. It's being stitched on perforated paper. White perforated paper. And that is all that I have in my travel bag. Okay. Dudley's sitting next to me staring at me thinking, are you talking to me? No, I'm not. Okay. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. Where to go from here? Oh, this is done already. No kitty. All right. This is a So Much to Love project bag, and I have several projects in here, all of which I will be working on next year because they're all gifts of some kind. This one is Apple Blossom Sampler by the Drawn Thread. This is being stitched on, let's see, vintage cedar plank by Lakeside Linens in 40 count. I was a little bit apprehensive about doing a Drawn Thread pattern on 40 count, but I really love it so far, and I was reassured. Okay, yeah, the lighting is not great, so you can't really see those letters very well, because it's a very, very light pink. It seems like it's really blending into this fabric. In person, I mean, you do have to kind of look, but I think that's kind of intentional with the colors, because then you'll be able to see the bird and the branches, and then you'll have to like look really closely for the alphabet. I really like how subtle it is. So that's coming along nicely. In retrospect, I really should have started closer to the side, closer to this side, so that I could fit it on this fabric twice if I wanted to stitch it twice, or if I could use the fabric for something else. But I was really worried that it was, I don't know, I didn't think about it enough before I started, so yeah, that's okay. I really like this fabric. It's not the called for fabric, I just selected it and it worked out really well. Okay, also in this bag is Violet's Blue by Blackbird Designs. That's what it will look like up on the top there. I think this is out of print now. I I am stitching this on 32 count mystery linen from Nancy Turner, Victorian Model Sampler Shop. I won a giveaway of hers last year, and this fabric was in there, and it's just a really beautiful, sort of nutty, toasted nut brown. Anyway, that's how far I am on that. Also in here is a Dimensions Petite kit. What's this called? Seashell Treasures. It's on 18 count ivory Ada. That's what it will look like. This is going to be a gift for my mother-in-law. She doesn't know about it. That's how far I am. Not super far, but I think there's like 2 shells here taking form. So that should come out more next year. Oh, I guess this one, oh, there's 2 in here. All right, bee sampler. Show you this way. There you go. Bee Sampler by Lila's Studio. I love Lila's Studio. And this was actually a gift to me from Caitlin, Big Apple Stitching. So I will get to work on this next year. Here's my progress. She gifted me with the pattern and all 3 flosses, so I'm using the called for floss. I had this linen in my stash. I think it was some kind of it's a permanent linen. It's 32 count, and it's some kind of creamy color, but I coffee stained it. I did not coffee dye it, I coffee stained it. I rubbed coffee grounds all over it to give it a nice look, nice antique kind of look. This is not a gift. This is called Missing Persons File number 1018 by Amy Mitten. So unfortunately I won't have a whole lot of time to work on this next year since I'm focusing on gifts. But I am also allowing for 1 project a month of my own choosing, you know, so this might come out at some point. I finished this section here, and I think I'm working on this section next. Amy Mitten wrote an entire mystery to go along with this pattern, so you read sorry. Okay, you read and then you stitch. And I decided to replace the linen that came in the kit with what kind of linen is this? Sea glass or star something? I forget what it's called. It's a greenish kind of a linen, and these are mostly, not mostly, there's just a lot of specialty stitches in here. I forget what they're called, Mondovian or something up here. All of these are specialty stitches, and then there's specialty stitches in there. I love this piece so much. I think it's just so cool. So cool. I love it. Love, love, love. And the needle minder. I'm using a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde needle minder for this one. I got that from Mad for Minders on Etsy. This is just so cool, and I do miss working on this one. I have a feeling I'll be saying that a lot. Amy Mitten's kits are a little bit, I'm tempted to say they're a little bit pricey, but really they come with hand-dyed silks and the fabric and awesome designs, excellent stitching guide for specialty stitches. Excuse me. And her prices are in Canadian dollars. So if you're stateside, just keep in mind that it's a little bit less. And she has a, on her website, she's got a currency conversion right on her website, like right on the actual item page. So you can type in how much the kit costs and how much it's going to cost you. So really, it's very reasonable considering everything is hand-dyed silks and cottons, and the linen is also hand-dyed, and no, not always hand-dyed, but just the quality is awesome, and I just really, sorry. Okay, put those here when I'm done with them. All right, let's take another project bag. This is in my project bag from Quilting with Nico on Etsy. My friend Christina makes these project bags. They're so cute. This is called Thankful by Heart and Hand Needle Arts. This is a gift for one of my son's teachers. That's how far I am on that. This is on a mocha. I think it's a 32 count mocha something or other. And I'm actually using all the called for flosses on that one. I decided to get them all because I wanted to supplement my thread stash. Here's another cute little Quilting with Nico project bag. I love these project bags. What I really love about them is they stand up like this really easily. And they have a little handle. Okay, in this one I've got a few different projects going. Alright, I have a few projects going in here, and you will see some of these next year because two of the three of these are gifts. This is the first one. This is The Spring Bird by Jeanette Douglas. And I am doing my own colors. I'm using a piece of, I am using a piece of Luminous Fiber Arts fabric called Soft Porcelain. And I have 3 projects going on this. Okay, let's make sure this is the right. All right, this is how far I am. And this thread that I'm using is so great. It's Easter egg. What's it called? Water Lilies Easter egg. I really like it. And this red here that you see, it's not showing up very red in the lighting today. It's awful. But I'm I'm taking this red out. It's just too rich of a red. I'm gonna replace it soon, but I have to take that out. Okay, here's one that you will see next year. This is called the Potting Shed, by Little Leaf Designs, which is also Elizabeth's Designs. This is another gift from Caitlin. That's how far I am. It's a really easy little stitch. I just haven't had the time, I guess. And then the third thing that's on here is, this is called Lily and Rose. Yeah, Lily and Rose by Quiltify Design on Etsy. I am not doing this whole thing. I'm just going to do this motif here, and then instead of doing the whole alphabet, I'm just going to use the letters that spell be kind. And then up here, I was going to put like 2018 or something. I think I will just stick with 2018 because I wanted it to be sort of a Flosstube commemoration piece, because I got these gifts, these flosses as a gift from Marie. She goes by Stitching is My Happy Place on Instagram. She sent me these flosses that I just love, and I'm using those exclusively for this one, and it's on the same piece of fabric, so this one is taking a little bit of finagling to show you everything. So all I have done so far on this one is 1.5 letters, but that'll give you a sense of how big it is anyway. So it'll be K-I-N-D, and then B-E, and then the motif up here. So this is all being done on the single piece of linen. I believe it's 32 count. 32 count is kind of my go-to stitch count. Oh boy. I am doing my best to prevent this cold from getting out of hand. Vitamins, lots of liquids. Haven't been talking much, but here I am doing a WIP parade today. That's good. That's okay. I've been looking forward to the WIP parade, so. Oh, shoot. What's here missing here? I think it'll just be better for me to make sure that these are put away as I go, because otherwise it would just be a huge mess when I'm done. Okay. Next. This is the last of my project bags in use. At least there's one that I just finished using. Yeah, this is another Quilting with Nico project bag. This one she did especially for my birthday and for our autumn knotting style. So that's what this will look like. I'm doing this on a piece of 32 count cream Lugana. It shares it's another project I'm sharing with another. Okay. Here's my progress on that. I'm liking how this is turning out so far. I don't have all of the flosses totally nailed down yet, because I decided I didn't want to do everything that was called for. I wanted to make the colors a little bit more bright, because I like brighter colors. And you'll see I have a basting stitch around this one, here, all around here. And that is to remind me that there is a counting error in there. There's a massive counting error in there that I'm just trying to work around. So instead of forgetting and counting from it, here's a bonus. This is actually a finish that I still have not fully finished. This is the drawn thread, one of the Joy of Christmas ornaments. I have to finish that before the new year. It is a Christmas present, but I won't be seeing my grandma till the new year, so I still have a little bit of time left on that one. Okay, I'm gonna try to get some these out of the way. Excuse me. Here is a Joan Elliott. This, you will see this next year. This is what I'm calling Purple Geisha. This is what it's actually called. It's a gift for my youngest sister. Starting with the background here, I'm working my way to the center to get to her face. That is a trick that I learned from Sarah, Stitching Mommy. That's what she likes to do with all of her ladies, and I really like that idea too, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stitch my way to her face. This whole background is supposed to be stitched in with like this periwinkle color, but I'm gonna forego doing that so that we can see more of this fabric, because this fabric is awesome. It is Midnight fabric by Luminous Fiber Arts, and I think this is a 36 count. I usually go for 32 count, but I think at the time that I saw this, she was sold out of the 32 count. That's okay, because 36 count will make this just a tiny bit smaller. Here is Folk Santa by X's and O's, aka Fat Man in an Apple Coat. I am doing this completely differently than what is called for. I'm doing a yellow to blue conversion. This is on 40 count white, it might be antique white, Newcastle linen, and I really like how it's turning out so far. That background takes forever, but it's a super nice mindless stitch. And then yeah, I started on this coat. Really wanted to get to more of the purples that I charted, because everything, like the chart has like yellows, oranges, and reds, so I'm doing blues, purples, and reds. So the reds are staying put. Okay. This is my one and only Mirabilia, called English Roses. That's what it'll look like. I'm stitching this on 32 count Midnight linen by Luminous Fiber Arts, and This is all I have done so far. As far as I can tell, there was no over one option for this memorabilia chart, but I don't know that I would do over one anyways. At least not on 32 count linen. Alright. This is another Amy Mitten design, and you will see this next year because it was a gift from my mom for my birthday last year. Okay, I had to take a little break there. This is Excursion. This is an Amy Mitten kit. She does these around the world, this Around the World series that I am just in love with so much. I love it so much. This is my favorite one. It has significance to me for a certain reason. But look at this. Okay, look on the model photo. You see that the fabric is striped? Well, the kit comes with everything. It comes with the fabric and the floss. But what is significant about this particular kit is that you have to make that fabric striped yourself. So I actually have not been doing any stitching on this one because I'm just trying to prepare the fabric still. And I'll show you all I have done so far is one center stripe in the fabric. She gives you dyed linen threads, and I mean they are a generous length, and she tells you exactly how to pick out the thread from the fabric and then weave in the new color. So this I think this is like, let's see, this is 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7 strands of colored linen woven into the fabric. I think that took me like 5 hours to do. So it's a little bit work intensive, but I really love the effect, and I think that this is going to be just stunning when it's done. And I'm just really looking forward to it. I think my plan for that one is to do one more stripe in the fabric and then start stitching over where I have prepared the fabric, just so that I can get some stitching in as well. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, I know where that goes. Alright, I have a rogue needle here. Okay. Next up, Jumpin' Jack Frost by Tempting Tangles. So cute. I really do love the Tempting Tangles designs. I have several now. Autumn Nodding is by Tempting Tangles. I don't remember if I mentioned that. Sorry. This fabric is so soft. It's 28 count Jobelin in Time by Witchelt. Oh, it's so soft. It's just such a dreamy fabric. I don't know, I think it does come in 32 count, but it's really hard to find. Okay. Here's my progress. I love this one. I'm doing mostly my own colors. There are some colors, some of the pumpkin colors that I'm using the called for, but yeah, most of this is my own. That one you probably won't see for a while. Okay, here's a gift. Another from Caitlin. Big Apple Stitching. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. This is ink circles. Yeah, ink circles. Octopus's Garden. The octopus is my favorite animal. I am using 32 count Haunted Linen by Picture This Plus, and I am doing color conversion that reminds me of Monterey Bay. And that's where I am on that. Not super far, but this one will probably get a lot more attention next year. Actually, I hope to finish it next year. That's my goal. It's small enough I should be able to. Right. All right. This one, I think I will be working on this next year because technically I was doing this as a SAL. This is Max's Moon. It's a Lucilla kit. I was doing this as a SAL with Becca, Stitching Becca, and we were trying to have this finished this year by this summer, and then just life happened and neither of us wanted to finish it. Just because the stitchy bug can be elusive sometimes. So I am woefully behind on this one. Here's my progress. I was supposed to have this tree done by the end of last winter, and I just never fully completed it. It's half done. It's all backstitched. Can you even see it? There. I used a fabric marker to mark the grids on this fabric. It removes with heat. Here is one that I am considering a gift because it was a gift to myself for a job anniversary, a job that I no longer do, but that I do take pride in. This is Happy New Year by the Victoria Sampler, and I decided to do this on navy. What kind of navy? Navy. Forget what this is called. It's like a beautiful bright navy blue. It's not a dark navy blue. It's a bright blue. That's as far as I got. I only worked on this one day, and you'll see this again in March because that's the job anniversary date, and I don't know if you'll see it much outside of March, to be honest. Okay, there we go. Okay, here is Adam's Menagerie by Tempting Tangles. One of my favorites, probably, but I tend not to work on it in the winter, or really much in the fall. I'm stitching this on 32 count J by Picture This Plus, and I just really am enjoying the fabric. I did some color conversions, mostly on that ostrich. Oh, well, no, I did change. I changed a lot of the DMC colors. I just made them richer. The pattern calls for some more muted colors, and I just went with something a lot brighter. So, really enjoy this one a lot. Okay, here is another gift that you'll see next year. This is for my middle sister. Jingle Bells Christmas Tree Farm by the Victoria Sampler. She selected this for herself. My other sister selected hers too. I don't have a whole lot done on this one. Just mostly snow. I'm starting at the bottom. I'm starting at the bottom because she said that that was her favorite band, was the one on the bottom. So I'm starting the bottom. I have these specialty stitches done on the bottom there, and then just mostly snow. Snow, snow, snow. And the needle minder I got from Donna Ray. So, this one I'm working on in odd months, and the other one I'm working on in even months because of their birthdays. Okay, here is something you haven't seen in a while, and I don't have a cover photo because it is the Owl Forest Embroidery Wizard of Oz Sal. I'm doing this on 36 count aqua, and this is how far I am. I'll be honest, I am considering not stitching this. I'm considering abandoning this project. The reason is that I don't feel a huge connection to the Wizard of Oz, and with all my other WIPs, I feel like this one has the least amount of meaning to me. It is one of my son's favorite movies, but I just don't know. I think what's going to end up happening is I'm probably not going to work on this until I make significant progress on everything else. I just feel like this is my lowest priority WIP. It's cool, but we'll see where it goes. Okay, this one you'll see next year. This was, I got, oh, no kitty. This is called Easter Rabbit by Ellen Mauer-Stroh. I'm doing this 2/1 half stitch on 28 count fabric that was gifted to me by my friend Charlene. She's the Grateful Thread on Instagram. And, okay, where am I? This is going to be actually kind of tiny in the end. And let me see, which way does it go? It goes this way. Okay. So, this fabric is just really fun. And you'll see 2/1 half stitch on 28 count is just has really nice coverage. And this pin here is the corner, so you'll see that's the corner. I think it comes, this is the center. I started in the center, so it'll be about this big, which is about as big as my hand, actually smaller than my hand. So that'll make like a nice pillow or something. And the eggs, the Easter eggs, I'm going to turn into like a robin's egg blue instead of that orange, so, or yellow. And this is a nice just spring project. I started this last spring and for Easter, and I'll bring it out again this Easter. I like having a seasonal project for Easter. Okay, now I finished all these whips on the table, so I'm gonna reorganize. Okay, now I'm going to show you some oldies, and these are projects that I haven't worked on since I started Flosstube, really. This one I decided to bring out again next year because it is a gift. It was a gift from my mom. It is this old Dimensions kit called Cream for Kitty. The moment I saw this, I fell in love with it, and amazingly, it was still available on multiple sites when I asked for this around 2015, I think. And now I don't know where it is. I don't know where you could find it. So I'm sorry about that. But I'll show you why I put it down. The design is just so cute. Oh, I just love it so much. But at the time that I started stitching this, I didn't really know anything other than Ada, anything other than kits, and my stitching just in general was not very, I just wasn't very talented, I guess, with my stitching. So here is my progress. This is on 14 count, which I think, in my opinion, it is too large of a count. This cat does not have very good coverage. The dark stitches, really, you can see the dark stitches. And what really bothers me is the way I stitched it. You can see the ridges. You can see like the up and down and side to side. And I purposefully did this up and down here so it would look like a leg, and side to side here so that it would look like a body. But I just really despise that I can see all those ridges. If you have this problem, it is because it's not a tension problem. It is the way I was crossing my X's. I don't know if she still watches my videos, but one of my viewers named Oksana told me that I need to always come up in the same hole and go down in the same hole. So when I was getting these ridges, it was because I was crossing, like I was crossing I just wasn't doing that. I wasn't coming up in the same hole and going down in the same hole. And now that I've done that, my stitches are so much more even. Like, take a look at this full coverage, work here. And you can see how my stitches are so much more even. Because you can't see those ridges. And that's because here, I was just using the wrong technique. So, I decided to finish this anyways because this can just be a testament to the progress of my stitching. Like, you know, the journey of my stitching. It can just be an example of how my technique changed over time. So I would like to finish this next year. This is one of my goals, to finish this next year. But I would at some point like to restart it on a different fabric, like to stitch it twice. Maybe this can be, I mean, this is like a pillow size. This is so big. So I can maybe turn this into a pillow or something. And then at some point I would like to stitch this again on a smaller count fabric, either a 16 count Aida or 18 count possibly, but I really prefer 16 count Aida, which is like a 32 count linen or even weave. So that is one of my oldest WIPs. Like I said, I think I started it in 2015 or maybe 2016. I think it was 2016 when I started it. That was a while ago. All right. Now this is my oldest WIP, and there have been talks of doing a sow on this one because Calico, Christine, she has, her Flosstube channel name is Calico. She has this as a WIP and also a stitching friend on Instagram. Julie, I think her Instagram handle is Julie's Needle Dancing Needle, or Julie's. Oh, I'm sorry, Julie. I'll put it below anyway. Anyway, so she also has this WIP, and we've talked about doing a sow on this one because you know, it'd be nice to have it done. This is another kit, so I'm doing it on the kit fabric, which is an Aida, looks like 14 count. I have quite a lot done. So yeah, there's actually a lot more done on this than I realized. This is my oldest WIP. I think it's from 2010. 2010 is really when I really started getting into stitching. So there's that. I put it down because it's so much brown, and I just really struggle with brown. And now that I know that, now that I've stitched so much of this, when I see other projects, like I'm attracted to designs that have a lot of brown in them, but I just know from personal experience that so much brown and orange, it's just a recipe for disaster. Okay. So you may or may not see that as a sow at some point. Okay. This is my one and only Hade. I do have multiple Hade patterns, but I do not have any more than one Hade WIP. It's called Tut. that's what it'll look like. And okay, put that there. I was using this for the 1,200 stitching, 1,200 stitches a month goal in the Full Coverage Fanatics group. And how I was counting, I stitched cross country. I tried parking, and I couldn't really get the hang of it very well. I think partially because I don't have a floor stand, and I feel like that would be really helpful with parking. So anyway, I tried, I do cross country stitching, and with my Haid, I was highlighting as I go so that I could count my stitches that way, because I prefer to use a hard copy. So to make that easier to count my 1,200 stitches a month, I started a new page every month. So here I think I have six or seven pages started. And this is at the top. It's at the top left corner. So here is the waterfall, and here's her face and the start of her crown. So I'll show you so you can see for reference. There it is, and this is how huge it is. It's so big. I have not worked on this since May of last year. 2018. Yeah. So I'm calling this a UFO simply because it's unfinished, but it's also untouched. Yeah. I don't know when I will have time to get back to this one again, because I sort of burnt myself out. I was stitching this at a time when I was really overstretching myself. I was working towards my my private pilot's license at the time, and I was going to school full time, flight school full time. I had 12 to 15 credits, and my husband travels a lot for work, so when he was gone, it was just hard. Anyway, so 1,200 stitches a month turned into sort of a job. It started feeling more like a job, and then I just started not enjoying it, and then I tried to make myself do it anyway. And I think I learned a valuable lesson there, that I was feeling a little bit of FOMO. Well, it wasn't FOMO, but I was afraid of FOMO, like the fear of missing out. I was fascinated with, everyone else who was doing the full coverage challenges, and I still am very envious. But I can't make it happen for myself right now at this time in my life, and that's okay. I have come to terms with that. So I don't know when I will take out my Haid again. But the next WIP I have is from this book called Faithful Inspiration, and this design is called Be Present at Our Table. This is what it's supposed to look like here. I started this back when I didn't know anything other than Ada, and it has so many fractional stitches in it, like quarter stitches, and yeah, just a lot of quarter stitches. So Ada is not ideal for that, and so I was a little frustrated with that, and then I made a counting error. I didn't know how to grid my fabric, so I was also using 14 count, which was not enough coverage. And my stitches are not, like, they're just not great. So it really, I have no desire to come back to this as is. I'm using like an oatmeal Ada, which I really like, and I like the green that I'm using, which I don't even know what it is. I didn't write it down. So I'm doing this in green instead of blue, and I was originally planning to put our own family prayer on here instead of the one that's charted. It's just, I made a huge counting error. First of all, I made a counting error here, and like you'll see that her foot is sort of floating, or it looks like it's resting on a block. That's because I miscounted, and I didn't want to take out my stitches, and I thought, oh, I'll just stitch around it. So then I came back over here and I stitched all of this, and I made another counting error like up in here, and it was I was short a few rows, so when I turned the corner this way and started coming over this way, it was too high. Like the ground was up here instead of down here to meet this half. So I almost threw it in the garbage. I didn't. I had present mind enough to take out all my stitches, and then I was just so mad that I folded it up, put it in the book, and forgot about it until I started doing Flosstube, and I showed it to you, my Flosstube #1, and it hasn't seen the light of day since then. So I really just don't know if I will ever get back to this one, because I think for one thing my tastes have changed a little bit, and I don't know. Everything, it just feels like everything is wrong with this one. Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to put in a cough drop. Okay, there's only one other. There's only one other WIP in this old WIP box. And it's something that I want to restart. This is called the Good Shepherd. It's a Busilla kit. I have always loved this design from the moment I saw it, and I still love it now. It is full coverage. There's a lot of fractionals in here. I started working on this at the same time that I discovered Flosstube and discovered even weaves or linens and gridding fabric, but I still didn't really know like what count fabrics to go with, what to grid my fabric with, how to do that. I tried to learn parking on this one. I tried to learn stitching with two hands with this one. So I was experimenting across the board with this project. And I just don't like it. I just don't like some aspects of this. So I'll show you my progress, but this is all going to be scrapped. I already know. This is going to be restarted and redone. This is on a 28 count Monaco fabric. This is how much I have done. It's a mess, and there's all these hanging threads. And it's all like, this whole border, it seems like this whole border is nothing but fractional stitches. I feel like the colors are just so shockingly yellow and orange that it doesn't really show up very well in the video, but it just is so bright. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I want to choose different colors for that border. I just can't stitch on it anymore. I tried using fishing line to grid. Don't want to do that anymore because it's so thick. It's just so thick and clunky. And then I tried parking, like I tried parking up here, but then it wasn't working, so I was like, okay, well, I'll just do cross country. But then I also wanted to start and stop my threads on the top, and that wasn't really, couldn't figure that out. And so this is just a project gone wrong, and it needs to be restarted. You will not see that. You will not see this next year. I already know. There's just too many whips in the works that I already know I won't have time to restart this next year. But you'll see it again eventually, just not next year. Okay, so those are my oldest whips. Alright, and I keep those in a box that I got at Michael's. One of these things. It's got a Velcro latch. And then the last whips I have to show you. Actually, not the last ones. I have a couple that are not from Mania. Most of the whips that I have left to show you are from Mania. They're Mania starts. This one is not, though. This is a long time whip. It's called Window and Garden. I'm stitching this at 90 degrees. So I'm going to show it to you at 90 degrees. This is Little Room in the Attic. I love her watercolor patterns. I just love them so much. This is one of my favorite whips. Still, it's one of my favorite whips. I was thinking about doing July and Christmas this year, but I don't know if that'll happen. The sun came out a little bit, so you can see this a little better, but I'm stitching this at 90 degrees because I want my half stitches to be the opposite direction of my top stitches, and the way that the pattern is charted wouldn't allow me to do that. I've talked about it at length in previous videos, and I'll talk about it again later, but my voice is failing me, so I won't go too far into that. But anyway, see, the farther back I get, the more the fabric changes, but I think probably that's a better representation of how blue it is. This is Dwarf. This 32 count, no, 20, is it 28 or 32? This is, I think, a 28 count. 28 count Dwarf even weave. Or is it linen? Never mind, it's linen by Picture This Plus. I really like this design. I was gonna try to finish that this one this year, but I just wasn't able to. Okay. All right. Now, this is my chatelaine dragonfly lace mandala. I'm stitching this on 32 count Heather even weave by Picture This Plus. I love this project. I cannot wait to get back to it. I think about it a lot, but just with everything else, like all the gift goals that I have. So you'll see this again at least in May, because during Mania I'm just going to revisit all my Mania starts from this year. So this is how far I am now. I just started in the center. My cat is scratching everything today. It's being so destructive. Okay, and then here is, I've been missing this so much. This is my stocking that I'm doing for myself. This is Candy Cane Santa by Dimensions. It's a Dimensions kit. I miss working on this so much, but I just have been so determined to stitch on my son's stocking and to get that done as soon as possible. Okay, here is my progress on my Candy Cane Santa stocking. I miss this so much, and I just really wish that I could find the time to complete this one. But I've been obsessed with trying to finish my son's stocking first because he's 4 now, and I want him to have a stocking to remember. He at least is super invested in me, like stitching his stocking, and he likes that I'm stitching it for him. He knows that. And but anyway, I miss working on this one for myself. I'm gonna put my name on this one. Sorry. Once my son's stocking is done, I'm gonna focus on finishing this one, and then I do have one for my husband that I haven't started yet. That one is actually a gift. That stocking was gifted to me by my mom, so I could technically start it next year if I wanted to, but oh my gosh, I have so many other things to stitch. I just don't think I'll get to that one. Okay. Let me put this somewhere. Okay. What else? Alright. I'm just going to go through this box here. I have one of those cubby boxes. I keep all my, half of my whips in. This is a Scuba Duba by Raise the Roof. Raise the Roof designs. Did you know that Susie Reno and Teresa Bennett were a team? Yeah. Anyway, they're no longer designing Raise the Roof patterns, but they had some really cute stuff, and when I saw this, I fell in love instantly. Okay, so again, I started this before I really knew what I was doing. This is the first time I stitch anything over 1 on 28 count with 2 threads, half stitch. It's turning out nicely. Like, I like it. This is small. It's going to be very small. But the problem that I didn't realize was a problem until I started looking at the design is that some of these things, like this fish, oh my goodness, my cat is literally like wrecking my house right now. He's got the zoomies in the middle of the day. He's downstairs like, okay, anyway. Like this fish here, the worm on the hook, and I think some of these fish down here, like are there coins down on the bottom? There's coins down on the bottom. Those are all like buttons. So when I saw that, I was like, oh crap. So, I don't know. I'll just have to figure something out. It's turning out nicely though. It's just really cute. But you won't see it for a while because it was not a gift. And it's not intended to be a gift. So you won't see that next year. Okay. This is a long stitch kit, anchor kit called Winter Through the Window. I fell in love with the model the moment I saw it, but I'm finding this to be a little bit of a challenge. And because of that, I have not been eager to pick it up again. I did start this with Stephanie, or Steph, what does she go by on Instagram? Steph55 or J55. Anyway, I'll put it down below. She does a lot of long stitch kits, and she actually finished this. And I am just not very far at all. The reason why I find it so challenging is because the design is a little crooked. So, I feel like, I don't know. It's just hard. It's just hard to get motivation to do it, you know, when I have so many other things going on. So I think what's probably going to happen is I will get back to this once my WIP pile has gone down. And once I've got less Christmas stuff to stitch. I do love this design, and I changed some of the colors. I changed the green and the red and the yellow. But I'm just not going to take it out this year, I don't think. It is what it is, right? Okay. Here's one that I love. This is a Russian Panikit. This is no longer on the Pana website, so I'm sorry to those of you who wanted to get this. Last time I showed it, there was some interest in getting it, but I don't know where you would get it. You can ask some European people. They might be able to look at their European shops. Pana is more widely available in places like Ingeborg was telling me that she sees a lot of Panikits where she lives. So I don't know, if you have a friend in Europe, they might be able to get something for you, or Russia actually, because Pana is a Russian. It's like the Russian dimensions, you know, the Russian answer to the dimensions kits. I decided to change the fabric on this. It came with like don't know, 14 count or 16 count Aida, white Aida, and I opted for 16 count Serene. I think it's called Serene by Pictureless Plus. And honestly, it's so light. Aida dyes a lot lighter than linen. So when I got this is like one of the first hand-dyed fabrics that I purchased. And when I got it, I was a little disappointed because here's white. Like, it just is so, of course the sunshine doesn't help, but it's so similar. You can hardly tell that it's green. But I decided to use it anyway, and I'm really glad because I actually really like how soft it is. It's just a soft green. For those of you who think that all Aida is stiff and awful, it's not. It's not all stiff and awful. It's so soft. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I love working with Aida when I can. So, this one, I just got it because I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the pattern, and I just love how bright and cheerful it is. And I love traveling. I love different cultures. So you probably won't see much of that next year because I'm focusing on gifts. This one I started 2 years ago. I haven't touched it since. It's called Chickadees in Spring. It's a gold collection, petites, a gold petite. Anyway, I got this because it reminds me of my grandma. She loves birds, and she always has a huge flower garden. She's a master gardener, and she decorates her homes with chickadees. And her and my grandpa were always feeding the birds, and now, you know, she feeds the birds by herself. So I started this the moment I got it in the mail, but it just didn't captivate me. That's as far as I got. So I don't even know if I can call this a whip, because I put one or two strands of floss in this, and I haven't touched it since. And so, I mean, I just don't know. Does that count as a whip? Okay, there's going to be a lot of editing in this video because my voice is going, and I knew that would happen, but I just wanted to get this WIP Parade out. So, this is one of my oldest whips. Patriotic Angel. Yeah, Patriotic Angel. Dimensions Petite Kit. That's how far I am. I love her dress. That's what attracted me to this design. So I used that fabric marker again that disappears with heat, and I don't really love, you know, I've noticed that I just don't really enjoy the gold collection petites, and I don't know why. I don't know why I don't really enjoy them very much. I finished a petite and gifted it to a friend, but it took me like 7 years to complete it because it could not hold my interest. I don't know what it is about the petite collection, but anyway, here's an ornament. This is a Dimensions. This is a petite ornament. Noel ornament. I finished another one. I finished one of these, but it never got FFO'd. And this one, I haven't touched in a couple years. That back here. I like these a lot. These little bird ornaments. So this one is a whip. I have one up. I have another one finished, and I have a third that I haven't started yet. So I really like these, but everything else has been so distracting. I just haven't made time for those. Okay, this is a gift, so well, I don't know. Okay, it started out as a gift, but for complicated reasons, I don't know if I'm going to be stitching this for my brother anymore. This is called Sixth Day of Creation by Little House Needleworks, and I planned to change the words to say, on the 8th day, God made a farmer. I started this for Mania. I didn't have a whole lot of time to work on it, so I don't even know what direction this goes. It's like 2 strands, 1 or 2 strands. Go this way. I don't even know. Can't even tell. So I like it a lot. I'm using called for flosses, and the fabric I'm using is 32 count Legacy by Picture This Plus. If you haven't caught on, I love Picture This Plus. They are my favorite dyer, probably. Although I am also a huge fan of Luminous Fiber Arts, Misty's fabrics, but you just have to have really fast fingers if you want a piece of her fabric. So so I have mostly Picture This Plus. And let's see, this is another Mania Start. This is the name. My friend Mev told me that this character is based off of a wood fairy. There's like a myth about this wood fairy. So, based on that story, I decided to stitch her on a piece of swamp. 32 count swamp by Picture This Plus, and honestly, I can't remember which way it goes. This is her neck. That's as far as I got. It's her neck. It might go this way. I'll have to figure that out by the next time I work on it, which might not be until May, because Mania. But I think it's going to look so good on this swamp fabric. Okay. Here is, okay, did I did already. Here is Welcome Christmas by The Drawn Thread. I'm in love with the Drawn Thread Welcome series designs. Well, really, I'm in love with the Drawn Thread anything. And I started this on a piece of Water Lily linen by Herman. And that's as far as I got. Not far at all. That was another mania start. So I don't know. I've been thinking about maybe working on that like this month, just to say that I worked on it a little bit this year, but we'll see if I have time. This might be. Okay, this is the my last WIP. Started this in Mania, Victorian Springtime. This is a Victorian Chapel artwork by Frankie Buckley. There is the chapel on this side and a cottage on this side. And I decided to start with this. I just really love how springy it is. So beautiful. Okay, and this is stitched on a piece of linen called Graceful Gray by Perman, and I'm starting in the bottom right corner just for kicks, and I think this is 1 strand of floss, maybe 2. Did not get very far. So now that the sun came out a little bit, I'm done with my WIP parade. I hope you enjoyed seeing all those WIPs with me. I will not have time to film another Flosstube video until January. So, until then, happy holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. We celebrate Christmas here, and we will have a very quiet Christmas here, and then in a couple weeks we are going to travel to our families and celebrate a belated Christmas. So we will, yeah, that's our plan. This year has been really special, really great. Thank you so much for sticking through this video and for sticking with me this year. It's had its ups and downs, but I mean, ultimately, I think we're ending on a high note. And I have some really exciting things on the horizon for next year in my personal life, and eventually those will be revealed, I guess. But for now, I'll be taking some time in the next few weeks to look at some New Year's resolutions. I really like to make resolutions to reflect on the resolutions I made last year, and yeah, and just look forward to the year ahead. So thanks for being here again. I hope you subscribe so that we can keep in touch over the next year, and leave me a comment. And if you had any questions about, like, I tried to remember all the fabrics and everything, but if you have any questions about anything I showed, of course, leave a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, I just hope that everyone is doing well, and Happy New Year. Take care, everyone.